Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
What's up, Butterfly?
Hey, Firefly, what's going on?
Larry Fink's in the news.
Oh,
Larry Fink and who is the other dude? It's Klaus Schwab.
You mean Dr. Evil?
Dr. Evil. He's all talking with some Indian dude.
Uh-huh.
And the Indian dude is like, how is it going with making sure that no one owns anything?
Well, you know what their little slogan was that they are so proud of?
You'll own nothing and be happy.
You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. That's what they want.
And now, how much of your income do you have to spend on a house? Annual income, 7 times?
So that's interesting. So here's an interesting statistic. So in 1970, a house costs roughly 2.4 times somebody's salary. And today it's 7.1 times their salary. So basically, like in like the 70s, you could buy a house at like age 25 on one income. And now even 35-year-olds
With
can't
two income.
can't buy a house with two incomes. So the homes have gone up 53% and rent's gone up 26%. Car insurance has gone up 37%, but wages have only gone up 12%. So this is by design.
It's
And
the sabotage of the American dream.
it's the sabotage of the American dream, the sabotage of the middle class. Um, they are basically trying to make everything, you're going to own nothing and
You'll own nothing in life.
yeah, you'll be renting everything. So the WEF actually laid out a plan and they published their plan in 2016 um, that said that this is what they wanted. They were going to eliminate 90% of uh, car ownership and redesign cities, and housing was going to be shared, not owned. So they have this plan that they are trying furiously to get implemented by 2030, and that's what they're trying to do. I think they're running into some roadblocks, and I think what the main problem is for them is people resisting. Don't you think?
Totally.
I think more people have to resist because what they're doing is they're not only destroying the middle class, but they're trying to destroy our entire civilization, our culture, because what they want is for the, if there's no middle class and nobody owns anything and everybody's just kind of like stacked on top of each other, and it'll end up that people are just packed in like sardines living in squalor like some third world country. And that's kind of what they're wanting, I think, so that the rich elites can like live up on the top of the hill and look down at all of the peasants who have nothing. Um,
And have you noticed how they're all in China right now?
yeah,
All of those dudes, Trump, Elon Musk, Larry Fink, all of the key economic players are in China. And we talked about how the Council on Foreign Relations back in 1970, they said in no uncertain terms, we're going to shift the superpower from the United States to China.
right.
Because the United States had this bustling middle class, and
They
that's
don't want
so
that.
not conducive.
They don't want that because if people are thriving and you own property and you can make a decent living and you're not just spinning your wheels all day trying to make ends meet, you know, they have less control. If people are desperate and barely making it and need help for everything, they can control you. And um You know what's really it's interesting because so this doesn't just relate to like home ownership. What they want to do is basically have you subscribing or renting everything in life. And they're doing this in like small little ways. Like, I remember I had this software for screenwriting, Final Draft. I'm sure a lot of people know about that. And when I first got it, it was an actual, box that I bought and it had a disk in it and I installed it in my computer. Well, what ended up happening is when you update and get a new computer, that software no longer works. And now the only way to get it is to subscribe to it. And that's what's happened to a bunch of things like Photoshop, same thing. I had Photoshop. Now it's like a subscription. Everything is a subscription. So you don't even own your software, you're subscribing to it, which means a monthly payment. And now they're starting to do this in cars, I've noticed. So even my car the other day said, "Oh, there's updates available," and I'm like, I don't update anything on my car. I'm like, it's fine the way it is." But what they're trying to do is make, how like the newer cars are, everything's like computerized and stuff. They are going to make all of these improvements that are going to be so wonderful, and everybody's going to want these new improvements because it's going to make your driving experience so much better. That's what they're going to tell you, but you're going to have to subscribe to it. And I think at first they're going to be like, "Oh, just update it and it's free." And then what they'll do is after you get used to it, then they'll start making it so that, oh, it's not free anymore. And if you want your brakes to work, you're going to have to subscribe to this thing because you updated to the new braking system. So now you're going to
They'll
have to,
trap you.
yeah, you're going to be trapped. And this is a slippery slope, like so many other things. It's a slippery slope because what this does is this makes it so you don't actually have control over the things that you have in your life because you don't own any of them. You're only renting them. So they can change the parameters of these things at any time and they can even shut them off. They can,
That's what it's all about.
yeah,
If they can get this system put in, then they can say, we don't like what you're saying. You're not allowed to participate.
yeah.
Right now, they can't fully do that. And I think they're losing control more and more.
I think they are too. But what's, scary is they're like, remember I told you I have a friend who, she works in city planning and she just got back from a national planning conference. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
that's interesting. Like, why would there be a national planning conference for cities? Shouldn't every city be planning their own thing?
No.
No, what's happening is these these national and probably international organizations are controlling what each city is going to be doing in their city. So, like,
They're trying to create bigger blocks of control too. Like it's no longer like a city or a county. They'll have like a sector, and
yeah,
it's like that
yeah.
sector will
It's
include
like the
several
like the
counties.
Hunger Games,
Yeah, it's like
you
a
know?
district.
Yeah, totally. And they're having these national planning things where, you know, this is how like the 15-minute cities are gonna happen because they're gonna say, "Oh, you're gonna get government funding for your city, but you got to do it this way." And they're gonna want all the cities to be planned and controlled in a national or even international way. So there's no individual city, there's no way to like have any control over what's happening in your city. And I'm noticing that more and more in our city, And so, like you were saying, we need to like get involved in city council and stuff. I don't know. I mean, I think that our city council is totally corrupt, but
Start your own business,
yeah,
get involved in government, and we have to push back against this because they're trying to corral us into a huge communist prison
yeah,
worldwide
totally.
where no one owns anything and there's no upward mobility, and people like Larry Fink just lord over everybody.
Yeah, and the whole idea is to have everything programmable so that, it can expire. It can expire, they can raise the rate, and everything can be traced.
That's why
So,
he was just doing that speech where he goes, these xenophobic countries that are not wanting to take in like hundreds of millions of third world barbarians, they're going to be using AI and technology because their populations are going to decrease. And he's trying to say that's the only alternative because then he's going to be like, well, we can control you through those AI tools
the
and
and
we can control you through that technology. So you didn't bring in your third world barbarians. We're going to punish you by turning you off.
right, that's exactly what they want to do. And like, it's like they, if they get this digital currency in place, they can easily turn that off, and they can decide, like, they could make it expire, like your digital currency could expire, and if you don't spend it right, they could turn it off, like they don't like what you're spending it on. So there's so many problems with that. And like, I think they're going to try to make it seem really appealing at first, like it seems convenient, or it seems like what we've talked about so many times, like they're kind of forcing it on us at these at various venues and places where they don't accept cash anymore. But um what did you say? King Charles announced that he was there was going to be a voluntary digital
It's
currency,
voluntary.
digital ID.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to make it like, oh, it's voluntary, or you don't have to do it. But then what they're going to do is they're going to slowly, like,
They'll incentivize it.
they'll incentivize it, and
They'll be
then,
like, look at what you get to do if you just join our digital system.
yeah, and then they'll make it so that slowly a lot of places will stop accepting the non-digital way, so that you'll have to, like, um just go along with it in order to, like, deal with day-to-day stuff. But our point always is that no, you don't. The more people that resist these things, the more that their plan doesn't work.
Totally. Their plan doesn't work because people step up and say, no, I don't want to do that. Like, for instance, if you don't like Starbucks, start up a coffee company,
Yeah,
start up your own where you have killer treats, like we talked about, and you have coffee that doesn't have big shawarma in it,
right,
and you charge cheaper, and you be better, and you be cheaper and better than Starbucks.
right.
That's how we beat this.
Yeah,
Or you go run for office, even if it's completely, we talked about this last night briefly, even if it's completely rigged, you still go run for office because you get your platform out there and you tell people how you feel and you get your voice heard. And eventually people are going to start going, wait, no, that guy's right. We should listen to that.
totally.
But don't just sit back and act like the white hats are in charge right now.
Right. There's too many people just asleep that are not paying attention to
Or
what's
thinking
going.
Trump's a good guy.
Yeah.
Trump's taking care of all this stuff. He's doing no.
No, he's part of it.
Trump is a
And
bad guy.
he's not, stopping any of these things. Like, so I was just reading in 2024, BlackRock bought up 300,000 single family homes. They just bought all these homes by outbidding people by 20 to 50% more. And then they turn around and rent those homes back for 40% more than the going rate. So basically, they're making it impossible for the average person to buy a home because they're coming in with cash and outbidding everybody. And then all people can do then is rent, and they're renting them to them at these inflated prices.
Totally.
Yeah.
They're manipulating the prices. They're just full on evil. And, like Larry Fink said, we're going to use financial instruments to drive the hate.
Yeah.
So that's what they're totally doing right now.
Yeah.
They're driving people away from the idea of home ownership They're driving people into, you'll rent everything. I mean, even your skivvies, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'll be wearing underwear some other dude wore. It's like,
Uh,
I don't own my underwear.
well,
I just use whatever underwear is available today.
it'll will end up looking like you know, people in North Korea. Don't they all kind of have to wear like a uniform?
They
They
all wear a
can't they
uniform.
can't pick even their hairstyle. So
Exactly.
I think I heard Klaus Schwab actually say that we should be wearing uniforms. Didn't he say that once?
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally. Why? Why do they want that? Because that's conformity.
yeah.
And then everybody falls in line, and then you can be led like
Sheep.
sheep to the slaughter and fleeced first. So what is white pill?
White pill.
We just kind of nailed it.
Yeah,
It's talk about this. Make sure that you don't like make sure that you don't just act like Larry Fink's a good guy.
right.
Because he comes off as like you could almost believe that that guy's a good guy.
Well, he just talks kind of in circles and he mentions things that you might believe in. He's totally controlled opposition. I mean, for some people, we know he's like Satan, but um he'll say like, AI is bad, but then he's like turning around and saying like the complete opposite in a different way. So,
And he does this word salad
yeah,
that doesn't mean anything. And he just kind of placates his audience. And he talks in all of these like broad generalizations and he doesn't get specific. So you could easily just be like, that guy doesn't sound like a bad guy. No, he's totally insidious. He's using that BlackRock. We've talked about Larry Fink. He's the CEO of Earth.
right.
Why is he the de facto CEO of Earth? Because they own the Earth.
BlackRock owns everything.
They own everything.
So, like, even if you think that, you know, you like Pepsi and somebody else likes Coke, and those are two different companies, they're actually all owned by the same people.
BlackRock owns them both.
Yeah. So it's like if you look, like you just go up the ladder a little bit everywhere, and BlackRock is at the top.
He controls the
They own it.
Republicans and the Democrats.
Right.
There is no such thing. In every corporation that doesn't step in line, he crushes them. And that's what's going on is there's all of this extortion and coercion going
Hmm.
on, trying to cram people into this digital prison where no one owns anything and all you do is just eat bugs and live in your coffin 15-minute city
With 20 other people.
with 20 other people and you go and you all your clothes, you don't even own your clothes. Your clothes, like you just go down to the laundromat and just pick out stuff to
Just take
wear.
something out of there. I heard that they're gonna make I mean I don't think that's too far off, but I heard that one of the things is gonna be like appliances. So like your washer and dryer, your refrigerator, you're not even gonna own those. Like you'll just be renting those. Now, I think I can see like some people, like the younger what is this younger generation called? I can't even remember. I
Well, there's
can't keep it
Generation X,
straight.
there's Generation Y,
What are like the 20-year-olds called?
Generation Y.
That's Generation Y. I just like to say the now generation because I think maybe a lot of people, no matter what their age is, kind of fall into this. But
The convenience of the apps
yeah,
and the people that go, I don't care.
yeah. But the Generation Y, I think they're being conditioned to just go along with this and think it's okay. And they probably think, oh, well, why would I want to own a washer and dryer? I could just rent one and then when it breaks, I get a new one. Okay, but just think about the idea that, you know, if you don't own it, you really don't have full control over it.
Totally.
Not only can they decide to like turn it off, like maybe they don't want you using so much carbon, and so you're not allowed to,
They'll decide.
yeah, they'll decide when you're doing your laundry. You can't do it at 8
You've
o'clock at
exceeded
night.
your quota.
You've exceeded your quota, so now it just doesn't turn on anymore. And they can do that. and they can decide like maybe you just don't need a washer and dryer in your own
You
house or
don't need
apartment.
that.
You can share one down the hall. And some people might be like, well, that's fine. I go to the laundromat. But okay, now maybe it's the refrigerator. You don't need your own refrigerator. There can be a centrally located one down the hall and you can keep your
How
bugs
about your wife?
in
You
that.
don't need your own wife. This guy can have sex there too. He's from a third world country. He's having a sexual emergency. Help him out.
Yeah, I mean, the
Where does
I
this stop?
the idea that you don't own anything, it takes like all control away from your life. You basically have no control even over your
That's
appliances.
what they want us.
Yeah.
And they're making it difficult to own a home. They're making it difficult to start a business.
Yeah, because everything's getting so expensive. So even if you're okay with renting your washer and dryer and your refrigerator, well, what if they just keep jacking the rent up? So then it gets to the point where you can't even afford it.
They're jacking the rents up and becoming more and more austere with these measures. Like you have to jump through more and more hoops.
Right.
And what people need to realize, another white pill, is they want you dead.
They do.
This is not like policy shifts. This is extermination.
Hmm.
So you got to be aware of these people. You got to be like, okay, I am not gonna let these people coerce me into their digital prison. I'm gonna, like one of the things that I've decided I need to do is I need to start my own business and have my own form of income. You can't go work for these companies that are aligned with
No, we
Satan.
have to have an alternative world. That's the only way. I just had a funny thought.
What?
They want us dead, and you know how we refer to how they just want you to unalive yourself by hanging yourself with a scarf
Yes.
toward up because
Yes.
that's the side effect of a lot of those antidepressants.
Totally.
Actually listed as a side effect.
Totally listed. Yes.
Listed suicidal thought by hanging.
Suicidal thoughts hanging from a scarf.
Wouldn't it be funny if people probably will start getting really depressed if like this kind of stuff goes into place? And what if they tell you that you have to rent your scarf?
You have to rent your scarf. And get your own.
You can hang yourself,
You
but
can, yeah.
you're gonna rent the scarf because once you're done with it, somebody else can use it and we'll charge them the same amount.
You can rent a scarf. You can rent a scarf, or you can do we talked about
Rent a
ordering your
coffin.
coffin,
Well,
but you only rent a coffin.
but they'll make you rent it.
Yeah,
They're not even
because
gonna ship it to you for free. They'll make you rent it.
but you rent it because what you do is you gas yourself and you cremate yourself, and then they just come and dump your ashes in the backyard,
Yeah.
and then use the coffin for someone else.
So they
So you don't
just
even really own your
they
coffin.
just dump the ashes and bulldoze them into your backyard and then put the coffin back in the
Uh,
house for the next person.
it's called Coffin B&B. Yes. You don't actually stay permanently.
No.
That's kind of what's going on. Everything is like this temporary usage thing.
Right.
Like you don't own a bike, you use a bike.
Yeah.
You don't own a car, you use a car.
Yeah.
Well, fuck that.
Yeah.
I don't want to share my shit.
No.
No. And I want to make money, own a home. I want to have upward mobility, maybe make more money than Larry Fink.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I don't think I need that much money, but
I want to have the prerogative.
yeah, exactly.
I want to have the prerogative. I want to work hard. Maybe I want to go make more money than Larry Fink.
Okay, so that's a really good point. They've kind of taken that drive out of people, and I think a lot of the younger generation doesn't have that anymore because they are making everything so difficult. Um, I think what's happening is they're they're taking that drive and ambition away from people, and people don't really have the ambition that they used to have because it's hard to when you know like you could go to college and end up with like all kinds of student debt and then you're going to get a job making the same amount of money as somebody working for minimum wage at Chick-fil-A.
That's right.
Like what is the incentive to go improve yourself and work hard and, you know, have a job that's important to you? What's the incentive when somebody's working at a fast food place and they're making the same amount of money.
And they've given up. People
Yeah.
have given up. They go, you know what? It's too daunting. That's what happens with a lot of red pill people.
So I think what
They
you
get black pilled.
I think what you said was a really good point. I think we need an alternative society. We need people to start their own businesses that don't go along with these tyrannical ideas, that you take cash and you use your skills and your talents and your loves, and you create something that you share with the world that other people want.
Yeah. And there's no reason why you can't do that. That's what people did back in the 1950s. They'd
This,
start a hardware store on the main drag.
yeah, this is what
And they
how
would put
things
their
got started.
daughters and their sons through college and, be family. That's the other thing too. They kind of want to disintegrate families.
They do. Well,
Larry Fink doesn't
because
want you to have a family in a house.
what you said is you know, they don't want the middle class. They don't want people to own anything because then they can't control us as much,
That's right.
and that's what they want.
That's right. Because this country was founded on the idea of decentralized government.
Mm-hmm.
And the government was there to serve the people. And we had a thriving middle class in the 1950s. It was like a machinery, our middle class.
I think we kind of nailed it. I think we hit the nail on the head. I think we really need an alternative society happening. I think that's the way out of this. I really
That's it.
do. That's the way out of this because what they're doing is too big. They are I had a revelation just now and I feel really positive about this because I was actually feeling kind of bummed out. Like yesterday and the day before, I was thinking how daunting this is that they're just like implementing this whole digital world around us. And people were telling me, like, oh, they don't even take cash anymore at Universal City and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, all these people that go along with it, how are we ever going to turn this ship around? I don't think we can. But you know what? We don't actually need to turn this ship around. We just need to get on a new ship.
That's
We
all.
need to go on a new cruise that doesn't have hantavirus.
This ship is being manned by a bunch of evil
Yeah.
people.
So you know what? We don't need to take this cruise. We need to start an alternative society.
Yep,
That means everybody who has a talent or a skill, an education to do a certain thing, go out there and do it. Like I've talked to you about, like, I have this doctor who she just left the whole big shawarma system and started her own private practice.
that's important.
And now she just moved into a bigger building because she's got other doctors working with her. She's got nurses. It's like growing and thriving. And there's so many people out there that could be doing something like that. There's doctors, nurses, there's engineers, there's, architects, there's teachers, there's people out there who could just start their own thing. I mean, what about all the teachers? You could start a school for people that believe this way and want their kids to not be indoctrinated.
Totally.
And you could be teaching children and they wouldn't be getting like pumped full of this garbage that the public schools are teaching them and even a lot of the private schools. If you have a skill or a talent, which everybody does, you should start something. And more people that start this, more people will end up wanting your service or what you have,
That's
you
true.
know?
Well, because what they're doing right now, they're powerful enough where they can come and suppress you if you start a business, and they can come and thwart your ideas. But if enough people do it, they're not going to be able to.
Right.
So that has to catch on. That's the white pill. White pill, they have to catch on and be aware of these financial maneuvers. This is financial maneuvering into no ownership, just renting for your whole life.
Yeah.
So I think those are good white pills on this one. Anything else?
I think, yeah, I think, I don't know, I feel motivated.
It's time.
I feel like, you know, I mean, what we're trying to do is we're trying to spread awareness. So we hope that our listeners will share our episodes with their friends and
The nature of our podcast is kind of the white pill for this episode.
yeah.
We don't shut up. We come out and we speak out against this kind of crap. We're starting our own podcast, trying to generate our own money and be our own independent, you know, business.
And the reason for that is not just because we like to listen to ourselves talk.
Yeah.
The reason is to, you know, talk about these things so that not only do we have epiphanies and we hope our audience has epiphanies, but to get other people talking. And hopefully, when people talk and share this stuff, it spreads awareness and more people will think about what's happening and take action.
I think that's the key. I think that's the key. And also be aware of these things. When you go listen to Larry Fink speak, listen to what he's talking about and take a note of it because
Hmm.
he's revealing the method. He's telling
Yeah.
you what's going on.
You have to listen to these people when they're talking. Like read between the lines, but then also sometimes you don't even really have to read between the lines. Like when Bill Gates says, we can reduce the population through uh,
Healthcare.
healthcare and
And
vaccines. I mean, what is there to read between that? He's
that's right.
saying that he's going to reduce the population
And
through
they're
this,
all over in
you
China
know.
and they're all bragging about how awesome China is.
Yeah,
China is this big communist dictatorship and
yeah.
they love that.
Yeah. So why would we want that? The kids now are being taught that communism is a good thing, and that's not
That's what they're
right.
trying to do. And
Yeah,
they've successfully done it in a weird way, is make America from the 1950s, the prosperity, the happiness, the joy, the bustling. They tried to they successfully vilified that and said, "Don't you prefer to have Chinese communism over you?"
I know. It's amazing that people can buy that, but I think when an idea is drilled into people's heads enough at a young enough age,
They get
they
conditioned.
just get conditioned
The
and
school
believe it.
just constantly beats you up and says Christianity's bad, America's bad,
Capitalism is bad.
capitalism is bad. You need to get out of these systems. And people just go, oh, well, I'm a lot more comfortable than people in China. Yeah, but that's bad.
Hmm.
You shouldn't be comfortable. You shouldn't want comfort.
It's gaslighting.
You should
It's
want death.
look at those people have no freedom and they have no freedom of speech and they're basically, just
Want
stuck
that.
there. But that's what you want. And they're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, it's
So,
really disgusting because that's what happens when people become Dory. They get just on these psychotropic drugs and they're completely brainwashed by the media. So then they just go, oh, okay, all
mhm.
right, whatever. I'm not pushing back against it.
So teach your children, what's happening
Teach your
because the
kids.
schools are they're teaching them something else.
I talk to my daughter every single day because it's not about sitting down with them one time.
Yeah.
It's about every day teaching them and saying, well, what do you think about that? Teach them to critical think. Don't lecture your kids. I mean, I'm not trying to tell people how to parent, but I don't think you should lecture your kids. I think you should just ask questions and say,
Mm.
well, what do you think about that? Could it be this? Could it be that? You know, like the Handmaid's Tale, I always bring that up. And they're just like, well, it's a patriarchal society. Women are basically slaves. And it's like, well, think about that. Why would they be putting that out there? What's the agenda there? Do you think there's a motive? And just asking those questions gets kids kind of going, I see what you're saying.
Hmm.
And that's kind of red pilling.
Yeah.
All red pilling is asking questions.
Right. Planting seeds.
Teach your kids to be red pill.
Right. That's the white pill for
That's the
this one
white
too.
pill.
Yeah.
Red pill your kids.
So find us on Instagram at Unslave Your Mind Podcast and
Rumble,
Rumble, Unslave Your Mind Podcast, and X and
YouTube,
YouTube. If you want to email us or check out
Spotify.
our website,
Email us.
unslaveyourmindpodcast.com. And We're
buy
happy.
shirts.
Yeah, and we're happy you're listening.
We're so happy you're here.
Yeah, we'll talk soon.
Okay,
Bye.
talk to you soon.